What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Ballion, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And in today's episode, I'm going to recap the Knicks' Game 1 victory over the Boston Celtics. I'll get into Karl-Anthony Towns. I'll get into Wingstop. I'll get into Jalen Brunson and the mishaps that the Boston Celtics made. I'll get into all of it on the other side of the intro. Hit it.
DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! At the wall, he jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
All right, getting into the episode, and let's start with Karl-Anthony Towns. I started with him in the last episode. It was the Knicks vs. Celtics preview episode, but let's get right into it. Karl-Anthony Towns in Game 1 was constantly on the floor, and this is a common theme throughout the season. Every time there's a little contact when he goes up for a layup, he's always on the floor. Oh my God, foul, foul. It's enough. You're 7 foot 250. Go up strong, and if you don't fall down, they're probably going to call more fouls. And not only is he complaining for fouls against him, he's fouling. He had 4 first half fouls, and they're all on stupid plays. I'm out on Karl-Anthony Towns. He needs to show me something, and show me something now. In Game 2, he has to have it. I'm out on him right now. I'm done with Karl-Anthony Towns. He finished the game with 14 points, 13 rebounds, and no assists. I think Mitchell Robinson can put up that stat line if he's playing the amount of minutes. And I know Mitch isn't going to space the floor, but if he's getting his putbacks, Mitch can break out for 14 points in a game. Also, the Knicks' best minutes were when Cat was off the floor. When it was OG and Jalen Brunson running the show. When Mikal Bridges was locked in on defense. When Mitchell Robinson was grabbing his rebounds. That's when the Knicks were at their best. And that's consistently when they've been at their best. And especially in this game. Now transitioning to the Wingstop stuff. OG Anunoby was running the show. When OG Anunoby is scoring a lot of points, when OG Anunoby is making his shots, you have to feed him. And Jalen Brunson recognized that, and Jalen Brunson fed OG. I said it. OG Anunoby might be the best player on this New York Knicks squad. He's certainly the best athlete. He's one of the only athletes they have. OG finished with 29 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds on 29 field goals. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's a lot for OG, but it's not when Karl-Anthony Towns isn't shooting the ball. That's right where I need OG to be, especially if he's hitting his shots. If he's missing and that's like 8 for 29, then yeah, that's a different story. But when he makes 6 3-pointers, when he is hitting his shots, when he's changing the momentum of this game, you have to let OG shoot. You have to feed him. You're not going to get this every game from him. I talked before the series. I said I wanted OG to have a bigger role offensively against the Celtics. And guess what? In Game 1, he did. And in Game 1, the New York Knicks won. Now, it took everything they had, and it took some free basketball, but the Knicks got the win, and that's all that matters. Staying on the topic of OG, what he can do on both sides of the ball by scoring 29 points, but also playing lockdown all-NBA defense on Jason Tatum and on Jaylen Brown. Even when he gets switched onto Al Horford or whoever it may be, he's helping. Jalen Brunson's left alone on an island against Tatum or Brown. OG's there hedging. OG's there in help. Him and Mikal are the only guys on the team that do that. And the Knicks need more of it. The Knicks need to help Jalen Brunson out on the defensive side of the ball. Brunson is a subpar defender, but he held his own in Game 1. Like, there wasn't a time that I noticed. Scratch that. There was one time where Jaylen Brown went up for like an alley-oop layup. Jalen already had 2 or 3 fouls in the game, so he just had to stand there with his hands behind his back and make sure he didn't foul. But other than that, Jalen was solid on defense. He did his best. And OG was there to help. And Mikal was there to help. And now let's get to Mikal Bridges because Kale was awesome. And especially when it mattered most in overtime. The play everyone's going to highlight is the steal he had on Jaylen Brown to clinch the win. But people aren't going to talk about the three that he hit moments prior in overtime to extend the lead from 3 points to 6. It was 103-100 in favor of the Knicks, and then Mikal came down and hit a three-pointer. That's huge. Mikal only finished with 8 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, which isn't a bad stat line by any means. I would just want the points to be closer, maybe 15 or 20 points out of Kale. But if you're getting the offensive production you got out of OG, he makes up for both Cat and Mikal's mishaps because you're really budgeting 15 to 20 points from OG, and he got 9. So you can live with, say, I guess it would be a little bit low because if you say 6 go to Cat, it would be 20 for Cat and 11 for Mikal. But he made up for it in other ways. Mikal Bridges was a game changer. The Knicks brought in Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby to beat the Boston Celtics. And this is where I'm like, this isn't the Knicks playing with house money. This isn't the Knicks playing with nothing to lose. They've been in this round for the past 3 seasons. This is the 3rd time in a row they're playing the Eastern semifinal round. They are built to beat this Boston Celtic team. So no, it doesn't matter if they lose. It does. There has to be repercussions. And if they lose in an uncompetitive fashion, I think that one win clinched Tom Thibodeau coming back for the Knicks. But if they lost 4 or 5 games and they were all uncompetitive, heads would have to roll. It wasn't gravy. The Knicks are supposed to be here and they're supposed to be competing with the Celtics. It doesn't matter that they lost all 4 matchups with the Celtics, all 4 matchups with the Cavs. This is when it matters. They're built to be here. And Mikal Bridges is an integral part of that. And he showed up in game 1. The thing I need more of is the offense. If Mikal can give me 15 points while OG continues his offensive production, maybe he dips a little. I'm not expecting 29 points a game from OG for the rest of the series. But if Mikal can score 15 and OG can score 22, maybe 25 a game, Cat scores 20. Maybe Mitch puts up 8 on putbacks, hits a couple of free throws. He gets lucky. That's when the Knicks are competitive. And then Jalen Brunson does what Jalen Brunson does. I think he netted another 29 points in this one. He had 2 big-time threes in the clutch. I'll get to Jalen at the end of the episode. But Mikal and OG were the 2 biggest parts of this win. They were the 2 best players that the Knicks had on Monday night. And I think OG's better. Everyone's going to talk about Mikal because of that final possession. But OG, when the Knicks are down 20 points in the 3rd quarter, hitting 2 threes, swiping the ball and going down the court and dunking it, that changed the momentum of this game. That forced Joe Mazzulla to call a timeout. And from there, the Knicks went on a run. The Knicks went on a 9-0 run. Then it was like 11-3, I think. That's when they got back into the game. The Knicks used that 3rd quarter momentum initiated from OG Anunoby to win this ballgame. And the other part, I talked about it a little bit earlier when I said Karl-Anthony Towns, when he was off the court, the Knicks had their best minutes. Mitchell Robinson was on the court for those minutes. Mitch is so big for the Knicks on the glass. This is going to be a very finesse-oriented series. But the Knicks cannot allow the Celtics to grab offensive rebounds. There were multiple times last night where they had 3-shot possessions. That needs to change. The Knicks can't allow any offensive rebounds. It worked against the Pistons because the Pistons aren't as good of an offensive team, but the Celtics are going to make you pay. And Mitch, on the defensive glass, on the offensive glass, he is massive. The problem is he can't shoot free throws, and the Celtics are going to employ the hack-a-Mitch strategy. The Knicks have to work around that. They can live with the missed free throws from Mitch. They can't live with missed free throws from Josh, from OG, from Jalen, from Campaign. Those are the guys that have to be hitting their free throws. Mitchell Robinson, on the other hand, it's okay. I get it. We know he can't shoot free throws. It just happens. He's not the only big guy in the world that can't shoot free throws. It's a common theme throughout that position. So what I like from Mitchell Robinson is his defense. He's a rim protector. You still need one of those, even though the Celtics are going to go 5 out and chuck up 63s a game. You still need Mitch to grab offensive rebounds because there are those sneaky guys like Drew Holiday, like Derek White, who'll be crashing from the baseline to grab offensive rebounds. There's one play that's stuck in my mind where Drew Holiday just ran around Josh Hart and grabbed an offensive rebound. I hate those kind of plays because Josh is supposed to be the rebounding specialist. And he let a little guy. Drew Holiday, while he does have immense heart and while he is one of the toughest, grittiest players in the NBA, he's Jalen Brunson's height. Josh, you're 6'4". You should be grabbing those rebounds. I need that out of you. And now let me get to some of the improvements the Knicks should make before the next game. A, they need to make free throws. B, they need to grab defensive rebounds. Those are the two things that would have let the Knicks run away with that game. The Knicks were up multiple possessions in the final 2 minutes. If they could just grab rebounds, if they could hit their free throws, the Knicks would have won by 12. They would have won by 15. That's how bad they were in the free throw department. Campaign missed 2. Josh was 50% from the line. Jalen and OG missed 1 apiece, and Mitch missed 7 of his 10. Like I said, Mitch, it's okay. We get it. You can't shoot free throws. Just try. If you could make more than 3 out of 10, that would be great. But if you can't, the Knicks are going to have to work around that. That's something they're expecting. Now, looking ahead to game 2, get greedy. Win game 2. Take both games in the fake garden in TD Garden and come back to New York. Come back to the Mecca up 2-0. That would be tremendous. That would be ideal. That would be exquisite from the Knicks. If they could do that, it might be Knicks in 6. It might be Knicks in 5. But I'm not going to touch the money. I am expecting a loss in game 2 of this series, and that's just me being hesitant. It's me being cautious after the regular season that the Knicks put up against the Celtics, against the Cavs, against the Thunder. I am not certain with anything against those 3 teams. And now let me get to what the Celtics did wrong. They missed 45 three-pointers. That's letter A. You cannot miss 45 threes. It's an NBA record and expect to win. I mean, that's just flat out. I remember opening night when the Celtics were 1 or 2 threes away from making the most in NBA history. And it's the perfect example of living by the 3 and dying by the 3. And in game 1, the Celtics died by the 3. But that doesn't mean they're not going to get back on track. That doesn't mean they're not going to come out and hit 40 of those 63s that they chucked up. That's their game. They're going to keep shooting no matter what. Like I've said many times before, Joe Mazzulla will trot out any player on that roster and be confident with them shooting a long-range jumper. Next, and this isn't really something the Celtics did wrong. This is more just a storyline I've noticed. Whenever the Knicks win a playoff game, it's always the opposing team doing something wrong and never the Knicks winning. Like in this one, oh, well, the Celtics missed 45 threes. That's why the Knicks won. No, it's because OG was out there. It's because Mikal was out there. It's because Miles gave you some good minutes. He hit 4 of 8. He was 4 of 8 from the field. He played some lockdown defense. It's because Mitchell Robinson was able to stay with his matchup. It's because Kristaps Porzingis did go down with an illness. He missed the majority of the second quarter and the entirety of the second half. Sam Hauser rolled his ankle. He missed a good part of the third quarter and all of the fourth. But overall, the Knicks' defense was what won in this game. The offense was good. 108 points is where you need to be around. If you're going to beat the Celtics, 108 points, it's a little bit on the low side. But if your defense can stay playing this well, I think the Knicks will be fine, scoring anywhere between 108 and 115 points. And now let me get to Jalen Brunson. I'm closing the episode with Jalen for a reason. Jalen Brunson has such an uncanny knack for the clutch. It is unbelievable what he is able to do in clutch moments. In this game, it's hitting 2 threes, one against Al Horford and one I think both of them were against Al Horford, actually. Both step backs, one on the wing, one at the top of the key. This is what Jalen Brunson does. OG can do it in the third quarter. Mikal can do it in overtime. But give Jalen the ball in the fourth quarter. I'm going to tell you, chances are that ball is going to find the bottom of the net. And him missing that shot to end the game in regulation, that was a gimme. That was a layup. That's a shot that Jalen hits 9 out of 10 times. Whatever. It happened. The Knicks won the game. It's in the past. Jalen won't miss that shot again. That's not what we're used to seeing out of Jalen Brunson, so it's fine. It happens. I was just absolutely shocked when he missed that shot. I did not want to see that, and I thought the Celtics were going to win after that shot didn't go down. The other thing, the Knicks absolutely had to have that game when they were leading in the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds. When you're on the road in the NBA playoffs against the reigning champion Boston Celtics and you're winning in clutch time, you have to win the game. And that's another reason why I thought the Knicks were going to lose in overtime. Once you sent it to overtime, it gave the Celtics another life. It gave them another chance. And I wasn't sure that the New York Knicks could withstand another run from the Boston Celtics. However, they did, and they won because Mikal Bridges, because OG Anunoby, and especially because of Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen definitely has areas to improve. His free throw shooting has to be better, and I thought he could have taken more shots as the Knicks were making that 20-point comeback. But he fed the ball. He realized that OG is the hot hand, and he said, I'm going to feed OG. That's the guy that's going to give us the best shot to win right now. I'm going to get him the ball. And that's what he did, and OG Anunoby definitely did not disappoint. Knicks win 108-100 in game one of the second round versus the Boston Celtics. They'll have one more in Boston before coming home to New York, coming home to the Garden, coming home to what I think will be a raucous MSG crowd. I'll be in there for game 4. Hey, Knicks, take the next 2 games and get me to game 4 with a chance at a chance to clinch at home. I doubt that happens. Like I said, I think the Celtics will win game 2. I think the Knicks will take one at home. I think it'll go back to Boston with the series being 2-2. So the Boston Celtics will come into MSG and take back home court. But that's the other aspect. The Knicks go into Boston and send a statement. They take home court in game 1. They come out in that third quarter. I think they were either down 15 or 16 coming out of the locker room. And it wasn't their half to start. Reggie Miller on the broadcast, as the clock was winding down in the third quarter, he was like, oh, it's all Knicks in the third quarter. No, it wasn't, Reggie. And this is why Reggie Miller, I just don't like Reggie Miller on the Knicks broadcast. It's always something with him. He can never just... They say the national broadcasters are supposed to be impartial. They're not supposed to pick a side. It's clear as day with Reggie Miller. He's always wanting the Knicks to lose, and maybe that's just the competitor in him. I mean, the Knicks and Pacers were fierce rivals back in the 90s, and hey, we might be getting a Knicks-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals. That was on absolutely no one's radar. But Reggie's always favoring the other team over the Knicks, and in this case, he was like, oh, no, it's been all Knicks in the third. No, it wasn't. The Knicks went down by 20. And then once they went down by 20, the Knicks flipped a switch. They were down by 20. And they came back in Boston, one of the more hostile environments in the NBA. It's really just loud there. However, there were a healthy amount of Knicks fans in TD Garden, the fake Garden last night. It's a lot cheaper than going to Madison Square Garden. It's about half the price, I would say, for tickets. The only thing, it's probably cheaper to go up to Boston, get into the game, and come back than to go to one game at Madison Square Garden. But that's besides the point. As the Celtics crowd, it seemed like they were kind of out of it for the second half of that third quarter. For the latter part of that third quarter, when the Knicks were making their comeback, the Celtics crowd didn't seem to be too into the game, which, I mean, your team is getting... They're still up 8 to 10 points. But the Knicks are mounting a comeback. And I didn't take it seriously until it was a one-possession game. Until Deuce McBride hit a three in the corner. Until Josh Hart hit a big three. I didn't believe the Knicks had a chance at coming back. And I think that's where most Celtic fans in the building were coming from. But hey, the Knicks found a way to win. That's what you got to do in the playoffs. It wasn't pretty, but the Knicks found a way to win. The will to win. That's what it's all about in the playoffs. Knicks win 108-100. They're up 1-0 in the second round matchup versus the Boston Celtics. All right, that's going to do it for the episode. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, following, liking, sharing, commenting. I really appreciate all of it. Also, make sure you check out all my socials linked in the description below. My Instagram, my TikTok, and my YouTube Shorts. I'm posting there almost every day. One more thing, please leave me a voicemail with your sports questions and takes if you want to chime in on the Knicks' fiery playoff run on their huge Game 1 win in Boston. Hit me up at 848-305-8073. You'll be featured on the next episode. And most importantly, make sure you keep it locked with the Sports Pod.